have our pages here. This is an example page where you have your text on the left side and your images on the right side. Or if you've designed it differently, that's fine. But in order to submit this final project, you need to package it and check the images to make sure they're prepared properly. So let's say this is your page that you want to turn in your whole project. I have not finished it, so my project is just a bunch of blank pages at the moment, but I have my first page complete. So I'm going to test my first page so that you can see how to apply it to all your pages. Okay, so what I do, let's say I was finished with my project, I would go up to File and down to Package on that window. When I open Package, it'll say Summary, and it will have a little yellow alert icon that says something is wrong. So I go down to where it says Links and Images, and it will open up all my images and links, and it'll show that some of them are CMYK and others are RGB. Okay, so we need to have them all CMYK. And not only do they need to be CMYK, but down here where it says actual PPI, it needs to be 300 by 300. Okay, so how do we fix this? So here we go, it says that on page number 3, I have one image that's in RGB. Again, on page number 4, I have an image that's RGB. On page number 3, I have an image that's PDF. And on page number 3 here, I have another image that says, on page 3, that says it's RGB. Okay, so let's check them to see which ones need to be fixed. So I'll just cancel this window for right now, and then I'm going to go check each one of my images. So let's check the first one here. I need to go to my pointer. Okay, so it's called the selection tool, the V tool. I click on that one time, and then I'm going to hold the control key down and click again. It opens up this window. I go down to where it says Edit With, and I say Edit with Photoshop. So that'll open up my Photoshop and put the image right in there. I go up to Image, Mode, and the first thing I check is what the mode is. It should be CMYK. And this one is CMYK. So we're okay there. Then I go to the same one, Image, and then I go to Image Size, and I see that this one's 300 resolution. So this one's okay. I don't have to do anything. So I can just hit cancel, and I can close this image and then go back to my InDesign. Then I'm going to check the next one. So I click on it, hold the control key down, click, Edit with Photoshop, check the image mode. That one's also CMYK. That one also is image size 300. That one's okay. Okay, so I'll go back to my InDesign. Now remember that there's some in here that are already correct. So see, when I go to Package, again, see, these are already CMYK, CMYK, CMYK. These are all done, and if I look down here, these CMYKs are all 300 dots per inch, so we're fine. So I'm trying to find the ones that are not. So here's one, the Gutenberg Press. I'll hold the control key down, click, go to Edit with Photoshop, and here it's because this one's a PDF, it asks me, do I want to open up the page? And I'm going to say yes. So the resolution is 300 dpi already, right here, pixels per inch. So we'll leave that. The mode says grayscale. We don't want grayscale. We just want CMYK color. And we'll say OK. So that opens it up in CMYK color. And if I go back to my InDesign, it shows that I cropped out part of the image. That's why I can't see this part of it. So when I put it into my image in InDesign, I cropped it down, cropped it up, cropped the sides in. That's why you can't see this there. But now let's just check this image mode. It's CMYK. Image size is 300, so this is fine. And so now I'm going to say File. I'm going to say File, Save As, and something went wrong. It's File, Export As. All right, so I'm going to export as a JPEG, and I'll click Export, and I'm going to put it into the same folder that I have it in. It's right here. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to InDesign. Okay, and this one here, because it was a PDF, I want to check it to see if it changed it to a JPEG. So I'll go here to File, Package, Links, and let me see if it changed it. Nope, it's still a PDF. So that means I got to remove it and replace it. So I'm going to click on it, delete. I have to put the frame back in. So the rectangle frame, and then I'm going to say File, Place, and then I put it inside of here. There's the file, okay, which is a .jpeg. And then I'm going to go up here to Object, Fitting, Content to Where, and that fit it in there. Okay, so now I have it inside. Now my spacing is a little bit more than I need up at the top, but because I have my spacing already set up, it's fine. So now this one should be okay. And then let's test this one. Go here to Edit with Photoshop. Image mode, yep, RGB, so I want to make it CMYK. It'll open up this pop-up window. I'm going to say OK. Then I go to Image, Image Size, and it says it's only 72 resolution. I need this resolution to be 300. Okay, and this says 32 inches by 18 inches. And the little clip here is checked because I can see with the little lines that are tying both of these in, so I want to make sure that it's checked. I want to make sure that it's resample, check mark. Okay, and then here, if I take and make this 300, I'm going to divide this by 3, and this dividing 32 by 3 is pretty much 11. So I'm just going to say an average it out and say 10 inches. And say OK. Okay, and now I say File, Save, and that saves it. I want to save it maximum. Say OK. And now that I've saved it, if I go back to InDesign, I go and check the packaging on it. Go to File, Package, and check the links and images. And this one was the one that was called BHOS. And here it is, page 3, CMYK now, and it's 300. So we fixed that one. And now one more on this page. So I click on it with my selection tool and hold my control key down and right click, edit with Photoshop, and check it. Mode is RGB, so I need to make it CMYK. Say OK. Go to image, image size, and again this says 72 and it says 27 inches. Click, make sure resample is on, make sure your clip is enabled, and so I'm going to make this 300. And don't forget to divide this by 3. So 27 divided by 3 is approximately 9. So 9 inches. Say OK. And then say File, Save. It'll ask you at maximum. I'm going to say yes. So say OK. And now if I go to my InDesign and look at package, okay, on my links and images for page 3, there page 3 is CMYK and 300. Page 3, another one, this is CMYK and 300. So all my page 3s are CMYK and 300. So let's see if there's another one that's missing. So yes, there's one on page 3 that says that it's RGB. So it looks like it's this one. So let's cancel that. Let's click on this one here, and image mode, yep, you gotta change it to CMYK, and image size, yep, it says 72 and 43, so I'm gonna make that 300, making sure that the clip is checked and is enabled and resample is checked. And then I've got 43 here, divided by 3 gives me 114. So approximately 14. You can use your calculator if you want to do this with. I just do it in my head. So this is approximate. So it's 14 inches, and I say OK. And I say File, Save, OK. And now I should be OK with all on page 3. So I say File, Package, Links and Images. So I'm checking all the ones on page 3. So there, this one's good. This one is good. Because I can see it says CMYK and 300. And all these are good. So now the only one that's missing here is that one. There's only one missing. This is on page 4. So I'll go to my page 4. So it's one of these two. Now normally you would have this all filled out with all your images already. Okay, so I go right click on it edit with Photoshop. Okay, and I say image, mode, it says CMYK, so that one's okay. Image size, that one's already at 300, so this one's fine. I don't have to do anything with this one. And so if you're using a laptop or your home computer and you want to save space, you can close all of these other images out if you haven't already, because you don't need them. Okay, and then here, I'll go back to InDesign. And then this one here is the last one I need to check. Right click on it, edit with Photoshop. Okay, and let's check that one. Image mode, yep, that says RGB. Make that one CMYK. Say OK. Image size. This is 72. Make sure this is enabled on the clip, that it says resampled. Change that to 300. And then 3 into 28. So 3 times 9 is 27. So I'm going to use 9. And say OK. And then I'll say File, Save, Maximum, and then it should be fine now. I go to InDesign and do File, Package, that little orange, yellow or orange icon, alert icon is gone. Check with the images here. Everything is CMYK. And everything should be 300. If I click on them, they all should say 300 down here. And that's it. So now once I have this set up to they're all CMYK and all done, and remember, you're going to have quite a few pages here. So you check all your pages, you fix all your images, and then you say, once that's all done, then you can go and say package. So I package, says publication must be saved before continuing. Save it now, so I'm going to save it. All right, it's going to create a folder called your last name dash history of GD, which stands for graphic design, and then 105 folder. So it actually created the name for it. But just make sure that you make the folder and call it that. And so here, because I already have that folder, I'm going to call it version 2. So you can see that I'll have a second version of it. Version number 2. Okay, and then I'm going to say package. Okay, so here it's telling me some warning. Just everybody gets this warning, so don't worry about it, and just say OK. So now it is packaging the document, and I want to go see what it looks like. I click on my Finder. I go to my documents where I have it. So I have it in my Jabelli 105 folder, and here it is. There's the folder I made called version 2. If I open that, it shows that it put all the fonts that I used for my site or for my project. It will show what's called an IDML file, and it will show an INDD file, which is your InDesign file, and it will also create a PDF of your project, and it will have the links of all the images that you used. Okay, so that's what I want you to turn in. And in order to turn that folder in, what you have to do is compress it. So because it's named correctly with my name, the name of the project, the class 105, I can right click on it and say compress it. It will compress and make a zip file of it right there. And this is the zip file that I'm going to upload to my project when I'm completed with it. And that's it. So now I can just stop the recording.